It begins as a trickle in the Tibetan plateau, a gentle stream flowing through pristine wilderness. But as it journeys eastward, this river transforms into something far more powerful and dangerous. The Yellow River earned its name from the massive amounts of less soil it carries, over 1.6 billion tons annually. This fertile sediment would create China's agricultural heartland, but also seal its fate as a river of death. Ancient Chinese called it Huanghe, the Yellow River, but they also knew it by another name, China's Sorrow. For this river that gave life could also take it away with terrifying efficiency. The first recorded catastrophic flood occurred around 2297 BCE during the reign of Emperor Yao. Historical records describe waters rising to the heavens and entire settlements being washed away. This pattern would repeat throughout Chinese history. The river's bed rises higher than the surrounding land due to sediment buildup, creating what engineers call a suspended river. When the levees break, disaster follows. The 1931 Yellow River flood remains one of history's deadliest natural disasters. Between 1.4 million people perished as the river broke through its banks after years of neglect during China's warlord era. But why does this keep happening? The answer lies in geography. The river drops 4,500 meters from source to sea, creating tremendous energy. Combined with loose, less soil, this creates the perfect conditions for catastrophe. Ancient Chinese engineers understood the problem. As early as the Warring States period, they began building elaborate dike systems, but each solution created new problems downstream. The most famous flood control expert was Yu the Great, legendary founder of the Xia dynasty. According to tradition, he spent 13 years dredging channels rather than simply building higher dikes. Yu's approach became Chinese flood control philosophy for millennia: work with the river's nature rather than against it. But political realities often undermined this wisdom. During the Ming dynasty, officials faced an impossible choice: spend enormous resources on maintenance or risk catastrophic failure. Many chose short-term solutions that doomed future generations. The river became a political weapon. In 1642, Ming forces deliberately breached dikes to flood rebel positions, killing 300,000 people. The river's destructive power was now harnessed for warfare. This tactic reached its horrific climax in 1938, when nationalist forces breached dikes to slow the Japanese advance. The resulting flood killed 500,900 Chinese civilians and displaced millions. Yet despite the death, the Yellow River remained China's agricultural lifeline. Its sediment created the North China Plain, one of the world's most fertile regions, feeding empires for 4,000 years. The river shaped Chinese civilization in profound ways. Early states formed around flood control projects. The need for centralized management may have contributed to China's early development of bureaucratic government. Chinese philosophy reflects this relationship. The river appears in Taoist texts as a symbol of natural power that humans must respect rather than dominate. Yet Confucianism emphasized human responsibility to control it. Modern engineering brought new approaches. The 1950s saw massive dam construction, including the Sanmenxia Dam, but many projects failed to account for sediment accumulation, creating new dangers. The Xiaolangdi Dam, completed in 2001, represents the latest thinking. It includes special sediment flushing mechanisms, acknowledging that the river's soil-carrying capacity cannot be eliminated, only managed. Today, the river faces new challenges. Industrial pollution has turned sections into toxic streams. Water diversion projects for northern cities reduce flow, increasing sediment concentration. Climate change adds uncertainty. Changing precipitation patterns could increase flooding risk even as water demand grows. The ancient problem acquires modern complexity. The psychological impact runs deep. Chinese literature is filled with flood stories and river metaphors. The river represents both nurturing mother and punishing deity in the national consciousness. Archaeology reveals how ancient cultures adapted. The Dongku and Longshan cultures developed on higher ground, their pottery and tools reflecting constant awareness of flood risk. The river's course has changed dramatically over time. Historical records document 26 major course changes, some shifting the mouth hundreds of kilometers. Each change brought new devastation. In 1855, the river made its last major shift, abandoning its southern course to flow north into the Bohai Sea. This natural disaster killed hundreds of thousands but created new agricultural land. The communist era brought ambitious control projects. Mao Zedong declared, "We must harness the Yellow River," but political campaigns sometimes prioritized ideology over engineering reality. Traditional flood prediction methods combined observation with folklore. Farmers watched animal behavior, water color, and even listened to the river's sounds for warning signs. The river's sediment created another paradox. While causing floods, it also builds land. The Yellow River Delta grows by 20-30 square kilometers annually, one of Earth's fastest growing landforms. This land building has strategic importance. China's claims in the Bohai Sea depend partly on this natural process. The river shapes not just agriculture, but geopolitics. Modern cities along the river face impossible choices. Zhengzhou, with 10 million people, sits where the river emerges from mountains onto plains, exactly where flood risk is highest. The 1998 floods served as a wake-up call. While less deadly than historical disasters, they showed that engineering alone cannot solve the river's challenges. Ecological approaches gained new importance. Today's solutions include sponge cities that absorb rainwater, reforestation to reduce erosion, and controlled flooding to replenish wetlands. The approach has come full circle to ancient wisdom. The river's story reflects China's broader relationship with nature. It shows how technological power must be balanced with ecological understanding, and how short-term solutions create long-term problems. For the millions who live along its banks, the Yellow River remains both blessing and curse. Its floods have killed more people than any other natural feature in history, yet civilizations keep returning to its shores. This paradox defines the human condition. We settle in dangerous places because they offer life. The Yellow River teaches that there are no final victories over nature, only careful negotiations. As climate change accelerates, the river's lessons become more urgent. How do we live with forces that sustain us but can also destroy us? The Yellow River offers 4,000 years of hard-won wisdom. The Mother River continues her dual role, nurturing and punishing, creating and destroying. In her yellow waters flow both China's agricultural wealth and its historical trauma, inseparable parts of one story. Perhaps the ultimate lesson is humility. The river reminds us that our greatest engineering projects are temporary adjustments to eternal natural processes. The mother will always have the final word.